What's good, everybody? You are now in the mix. It's your big dog Kid 6, Chi-Town's finest Carlton, you dig. No Leah, aka the therapist, but it's all good because we're going to hold it down. This is episode 93. We 7 episodes away from our 100th episode. I feel like we got to do something big for the 100, especially in your spot, bro.
You gonna have
100 episodes in your spot? That's crazy. That's crazy. Damn, we started during the pandemic.
Still here, man.
Still here.
You know, we write our own history like my shirt say.
Still here, man. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that shirt. So my thug, I gotta see where you got that from.
It's a family brand too.
A word?
Another family.
Yo, shout out to the family, man. Family always holding it down, man. Shout out to Rich King brand, of course. And of course, Wine O'Clock, man. Yeah, I feel like we had so much to touch on. We know we missed y'all last week. Shout out to the You Mixxeners, man. We always appreciate you guys. Peace up for y'all. We don't do the waves. We allow Leah to do that. We let her hold it down, waving to y'all. But we appreciate y'all. We appreciate the subscriptions. Continue to tell your friends and tell a friend to subscribe and always stay locked in the mix. So, you know, we going to bring out What You Mixx'n Up this week. I feel as though it's only right because so much that's been going on.
It's been a lot going on.
It's been a lot going on. We have a lot to touch on. Of course, with the not so surprising breaking news that dropped last week with Roe V. Wade.
We seen it coming.
Yeah, definitely seen it coming. So it's definitely no surprise. But we'll give our take on that. I feel as though this might lead to a part 2 because we definitely want to have Leah's take on it as well. And you know what? I mean, even if and Classy wants to jump in because we know that this affects a lot of the women out there.
All the women.
Yeah. So definitely, you know, if you want to chime in, and Classy, feel free to voice your take on this. We have so much more from the crazy Verzuz that took place last week. To the BET Awards and so much more. So we just gonna dive right into it, man. And we're gonna start with sports. And we definitely have to send our prayers out to Baltimore, man, and to the Baltimore Ravens organization. They lost 6 days, last week. The linebacker, Jalen Ferguson, he passed away at the age of 26. And then you could honestly really consider him like a Baltimore legend, really. Former Ravens defensive tackle and Super Bowl champion Tony Siragusa passed away at the age of 55.
That was a long week for the Ravens.
Yeah.
I don't know. Both of the news for both of them came out of nowhere.
Right. It definitely did. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it came like on the same day.
Yeah. It was like a few hours apart.
Yeah. So that's, you know, sending our hearts and prayers out to the family and friends of Jalen Ferguson and Tony Siragusa, as well as the Ravens organization.
There's been a lot going on this offseason.
Yo, it's so crazy. I feel like within the last few months, we've lost about like 6 young NFL players for real. Which is crazy.
Unexpectedly,
right?
All kind of wild shit. I don't know. I mean, you know, keep these young players. All of them, period. The young ones, the old ones, keep them in your prayers.
Yeah,
this is crazy.
Definitely is, man. Moving on, you know, we keeping y'all in the mix, and I'm sure you all have been paying close attention to the Deshaun Watson saga that continues, and folks are at the point to where they are just awaiting for the NFL to announce Deshaun Watson's suspension. But for the time being, the Houston Texans are now being sued as well for enabling his behavior.
Of course, man.
Which, we're not surprised. I mean, of course, with them,
It was in the mix.
Hell yeah. So, of course, with them even, you know, revealing the information and having those women speak out and everything, the Texans didn't think that they were going to be, you know.
Remember, the victim's lawyers was the same lawyer. It was the owner's lawyer. The Texans owner's lawyer. For one, that's how we knew that they was in cahoots.
Oh, yeah.
And it just sucks, too, because, well, for one, we know still Deshaun Watson is a certified horny man.
Nah, he has a problem.
He has a problem. He's a certified
He really has a problem, ladies and gentlemen.
That man is a freak. There's something wrong with him. And now what it looks like, because we know that The Texans owner's lawyer was the victim's lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it's 24 victims, but it was also 15 other masseuses that was on Deshaun's side.
Yeah.
So now it looked like it was a game of who can pay who to be on their side. And now that they got people, remember he settled. Deshaun, that was a new suit. He settled with
like 20.
Yeah,
20 out
like
of the 24, I believe.
He settled, and it was only a few of them left. But now it's looking like the settlement with there might have been something that was kicked up on the side of the Texans, where it's like, I feel like they were trying to pay them to be on their side, and then it backfired, and then they come to find out where they like, you was putting them up to it, and now you trying to make us be on y'all side. Now we gonna sue y'all too.
Hell yeah.
Biting them in the ass all because he wanted to get traded, even though he's a horny man.
Nah, he's really like, ladies, if you ever get a text message from him and he say, can you give me a massage? You already know where it's going to lead to.
He wants his ending to be happy.
Facts.
That man is a freak.
Hell yeah. I don't know what the hell wrong with him, but yeah, he got to chill. He has to chill for real.
The Texans, they just as bad.
Oh yeah.
They just as bad.
Definitely, man. They paid for it. They condoned it. So, man, oh man. And then on top of that, so if he does get suspended, depending on how many games he's suspended for, Baker Mayfield is still a no-show. And he still wants out. And there could be serious consideration that he might get traded to the Carolina Panthers.
I mean, hey, shit is that. I don't really like Baker.
I'm not a Baker fan either.
He in your division. I'm sure you wouldn't mind seeing that man get tackled
a
few more times.
Yeah.
From the Steelers, how many times you think y'all sacked him?
A lot.
A lot. He trash.
Like a lot. The Steelers, it's crazy because I peeped the stat the other day. The Steelers are the only team in NFL history to have, I think, 5 consecutive seasons of 50+ sacks.
How many of them 50 sacks plus sacks do you think was on Baker every season?
You know what? I'd probably say a good, maybe Baker been in the league for 3-4 seasons. Probably about a good 20.
That's a good 20 right there.
Yeah.
That's a good 20 right there.
Probably a good 20 out of his career.
Baker.
Hell yeah. He's a bum. He's a bum. I don't know what they saw in him as being a number 1 overall pick, but it's also Cleveland. So
it is Cleveland.
They don't know how to really select.
They reap what they sow.
Yeah.
And what they did with Odell, he got a ring now.
Mm-hmm.
The man didn't want to throw him the ball. He went somewhere and caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl somewhere Baker probably never will go.
Oh hell,
I ain't gonna lie.
not at all, man.
It's all good.
Moving on. So NBA news has been going on as of late, and we already know. We touched on the NBA champion, Golden State Warriors. Okay.
Shout out to the Warriors again.
Shout out to the Warriors again, man.
Shout out to Stephen Curry again.
So now it's officially, free agency off season for the NBA.
The draft did happen too.
The draft did take place, so congratulations to those who
the newly drafted NBA players.
Hell yeah, who achieved their dreams of being drafted to an NBA team.
It's always one of my favorite things about watching the draft.
Yeah.
Seeing these people really it's like a lifelong dream.
Hell yeah. So definitely shout out to y'all, but damn, I will say there were some ugly ass suits worn by some of these players.
Hey, the style nowadays is to be really, really weird.
I see. I see.
Even in the draft.
Yeah, it was all bad. But shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. I know we were probably, as NBA heads, we're probably looking to see if there would be, big draft trade moves.
It was a few. Not big
big name moves or anything.
It was some moves though. The Knicks nicked.
Oh yeah.
Y'all know what that means.
Yeah. The Knicks, they never seen.
They did what the Knicks did.
Damn, man. I would hate to be a Knicks fan. I would truly hate to be a Knicks fan. So it's been reported. It was reported prior to him opting in. Kyrie was looking to do a sign and trade deal.
He was shopping it around. Seeing what deals he might be able to come up with.
Yeah. And, the Lakers was at the top of his list. He had the Heat on there.
He had Dallas on there, too.
I believe so.
He had the Clippers on there in Philly.
Yeah. And no one was really biting.
Yeah. So the reason why the Lakers was at the top was because they were the only ones that were willing to make a sign and trade offer.
Mm-hmm.
And all the rest of the teams was like, nah, not really, because
Yeah.
they can't afford them.
Right.
And the crazy part about it was that, like, even with the Lakers choosing to try to pursue him, he would have only been getting the $6 million for it, because I mean they can't afford his contract, and he would have had to take that severe pay cut to go there, and he would have only got $6 million from like some tax exemption for being out there. And they were willing to do that, but the only way to sign a trade would have made sense is if they would have put Russ in the mix, because you know y'all are trying to get rid of Westbrook, they were trying to get rid of him, but the Nets was like, nah.
Right.
And everywhere else was like, Kyrie, we would only have you if you would take that pay cut.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, you know what? I'm just going to get paid and stay in Brooklyn.
Yeah, because he'll be a free agent in 2023.
Yeah, 2023.
So definitely, I'm sure there's going to be a team that would drop a bag on him.
Maybe, so the thing about it is he wants to get a big contract. He wants to get a long-term deal. The only thing that sucks, though, is that his skill level, you would think he deserves a long-term deal for a lot of money. But when you look at his availability,
He's talking about
because he is very injury prone, but also he misses games for other reasons that don't really have much to do with injuries. And teams look at shit like that and be like, bro, we don't know if we want to pay you.
Right.
You're not going to be playing.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? And so,
Agreed. But with him going through all of that, right, could we possibly see KD wanting out of Brooklyn as well?
I mean, KD was thinking about it because, you know, depending on what Kyrie did, you know, his chances of winning there without Kyrie is slimmer. So, I mean, I will say this. They both there this season. They did well for the first, like, half of the season.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even with Kyrie in and out, they was doing decent. It was a couple points when the Nets was the number one seed in the East.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I mean, Kyrie has no restrictions. He can play full time now. KD is healthy, so I expect them to come through and beat the Brooklyn Nets that everybody thought that they were going to be when they first formed.
Yeah.
And if they really are competitors and they want to win, I expect to see them show their effort and actually compete. And then, depending on how that goes, I guess we're going to see how the offseason goes next year if they want to move around and all of that.
Right. So we definitely going to see. And of course, you know, Russ Westbrook, he opts in and he'll remain a Laker.
$47 million or something like that. He about to be getting paid.
I'm stressed out, bro. Yes. It is what it is. We got to run it back with Russ. So
I heard a few people saying Russ ain't the problem. They were saying the problem was the coach, and they were saying the problem was Ed Davis. Which, I mean, I feel like there was problems too. But, I mean, when you shooting the worst you ever, shooting worse than anybody else in the league from the three, you can't ignore that.
Hell no, because, I mean, and we've also said, I mean, we could point the finger at everybody else, but we could also point the finger at Russ and his play and where he
was really inefficient.
Yeah, he definitely was. I mean, from the turnovers, his shooting, I mean, it was just horrible. We've seen the replays, we've seen the footage. So I mean, we can't sit there and just, you know, say, well, it was, you know, the coach's fault, this, that, and the other. Which I mean, coaches, you know, they have a. I mean, I never looked at him as a true head coach. Anyway, I'm gonna just be honest with you.
They grabbed Vogel. I was like,
I never looked at him as a true head coach in the first place. But it is what it is. But I mean, if they go into the season, we will see how, you know, the big three will be.
Russ not trash, but he needs to be way better.
Yeah,
so
we've seen him.
The optimistic Laker fan in you.
Right, we've seen him, so it's just kind of like, all right, Russ, like I know what you can actually do.
You got to do that.
I don't know what the hell you was doing in his first year as a Laker, but I need you to turn it up now.
He got to do that though.
Yeah, and AD, we just need you to stay healthy.
Please.
That's all. That's all we ask. Every time you hit the floor, I'm praying to God that you're not injured. So I'm just praying. I'm praying. And you know, John Wall and the Rockets, they reach a buyout agreement, and once it's clear, Wall will sign with the Clippers.
Man.
So you now have, because since Paul George and Kawhi came to LA, signed with the Clippers, they haven't really had a full season together as a duo.
At all.
John Wall hasn't played a full season since 2019.
Damn.
So you now have 3 players who combined, what would your guess be the amount of the number of games that they will play together going into this season?
So,
because you can't really trust them.
You can't really trust them. So Kawhi should be healthy. Paul George is back. He's good. Hopefully he stays healthy. I think John Wall could have played this year. He could play this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He didn't play because of his contract, and the Rockets was like, we're not really trying to win. So we're not going to have you even out there trying to play and compete, because what if you get hurt? That hurts your trade value and your worth or whatever. We're just going to have you sit. So, I mean, he has no excuses but to stay healthy. Kawhi, I believe Kawhi can stay healthy. So, out of how many games I think they're going to play together, if they want to compete, which I think they can compete with this roster, I would say they need to play no less than 50 games together.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. They definitely got to play about like a good 50, 55 games.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, they have a solid roster.
They got Kawhi, PG, and they needed a point guard. Remember, they had Rondo for a minute, but Kawhi got hurt. Paul George is out, but now they got a capable point guard who's a good point guard, and they got their guys healthy. I just would hope that, because I know how the NBA do. They like to rest their stars a lot to keep them playing over long, especially when the playoffs.
Kawhi is one of those players that really like to take time off. Even if he's about like 85 to 90%, he'll still take the time.
He's gonna take the time off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they can play 50 plus games, I think they can be in a good position to compete. I say that same thing about Kyrie and KD too.
Yeah.
They need to play about 50.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting competitive season, that's for sure.
Lakers too.
Yeah. The Lakers can definitely do it.
And you got to stay healthy for 50.
Yeah. Folks got to stay healthy. They got to have the right role players. And I think with Ham as the head coach, I think he will operate effectively.
Yeah.
I think he'll know how to run the floor with who needs to be out there. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this upcoming NBA season for sure. Moving on to some news. So it's still free BG. BRITTNey Griner is set for trial July 1st. Right now she's still over in Russia, right?
Yeah.
She's in Russia. And right now she's facing 10 years in prison for a THC pen.
They just tried to extend her detainment for another 6 months.
Yeah.
So what we're witnessing, if y'all have been paying attention, is a literal prisoner of war.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a literal war between United States and Russia, but it's like a war for some kind of political gain.
Yep.
And they're using a person,
an American,
for their leverage, because for a THC pen, you've had somebody in there for months already, and you're trying to keep her in there for another 6 months, and you're saying that she has a penalty where she can face up to 10 years.
Which is insane.
Which is ridiculous. So I don't know what kind of deal that they're trying to work out. I don't know what in the world is making America so, I don't want to say hesitant, but they're not moving hastily enough.
Right, to bring her back.
And the crazy part, what people saying? They like, if Trump was in office, he would have had.
You know what's wild? I saw that. And it's one of them things where it was like, damn, you don't want to agree with the people, but it's like, you got to nod your head and say, yeah.
Yeah, ASAP out of there.
Right.
He said we need to get Rocky out of there ASAP.
Yeah. And he did just that. So it's just like, damn.
Those are also his people, though. Remember, he was Russian. He was
true.
With his people, so it's a little bit easier. But I honestly think that's a part of the reason why this isn't working quite as well as we thought it would either, because they don't really rock with Biden. But I mean, free BRITTNey Griner.
Seriously, man.
I hate that she got to go through this.
Yeah, I know for her that's extremely traumatizing.
Crazy.
And I'm sure she would never want to go back over there again.
I've never seen no shit like that.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So we screaming free BG. until they free BG and bring her back to America. For sure.
It's not good, man.
Crazy news. So 46 people were found dead in the San Antonio trailer, and 16 were hospitalized. So they were immigrants coming over and found dead. Now, could this have been more of, looking to come into America, get with their family, or could this have also possibly been, a trafficking case? Because, that's still going on as well.
Right.
But to have that number, 46 dead, found in the trailer, is insane.
They trying to say like heat exhaustion and dehydration, which I think could have played
That could have been, yeah.
But 46 people.
Right.
They said it was stacks of bodies. You don't have 46 dead people, and like at a time, and you'd be like, oh, they just died from dehydration. No,
it has to be more from that.
Yeah,
it has to be.
That is carnage.
It has to be
ridiculous.
Because, yeah, like you said, that just sounds crazy for 46, all of them to die of dehydration.
Yeah. I don't think that's from they was just trying to come over here, because in a case like that, if you even think it's getting that bad, it's not gonna be 46 people dying.
Right.
If y'all just trying to escape to America, I really think that other reason might be more spot on to what really happened, because you don't have that many dead people. They was, man, I don't know. That's a little diabolical.
Seriously, we definitely going to stay locked in the mix with that for sure, because I know it's going to be more news to come with that.
For sure.
And we'll, they'll reveal what actually took place and what was happening, because, articles like this, it could definitely possibly be, okay, yeah, well, we'll just go ahead and tell them, like, forensics they found, they said cause of dehydration and whatnot, but there might be more to it.
Lying if they say some shit
right,
like that.
Definitely. So yeah, we'll definitely keep y'all locked in the mix with that for sure. And then moving on, because this was the real breaking news, but not surprising, but it was still breaking news, where the Supreme Court overturned Roe V. Wade. This was over 50 years?
Since 1973.
Yeah. This is definitely, this country is definitely a joke. I'll say that. This country is a joke. And I think more so, we definitely would love Leah here, but I know there are a lot of women out there who want to hear a lot of men speak out on this as well. We'll give our take on it. It's some BS, to be honest with you, because there's so much that's going on in this world today.
It keeps getting worse.
Right.
Every day.
And it's right there in our face, and we're completely ignoring it and focusing on what women decide to do with their body.
Man.
I'm confused. I don't understand why this was such...
I was so important, right?
Yeah, I don't understand why this was... why they were so pressed to make this overturn.
So, I got a few theories on it. First of all, I get tired of saying this, but shit has officially hit the fan. This isn't the first time shit has officially... It's just shit everywhere, because it keeps hitting the fan.
Yeah.
In this country. Every time... it's directly the lineage of this country to continually do horrible, daunting things in this country. So if y'all have seen the Supreme Court justices, all 9 of them, they're all old as fuck, in their early millions. You know what I'm saying? It's like one black guy. What did I say? Early millions. They old as fuck, and said it so casually. I really
right.
But they're all old. There's some women on there too, and so it's only 3 people that voted against it, and the ones that voted for it, all white men. It was a woman, it was a black man, and it's are y'all dumb? Well, we know that.
They're clearly dumb.
So the worst part about the Supreme Court is that they have to be appointed by a president, and they literally don't have to stop serving unless they choose to retire or they die. And a lot of these people was like alive and maybe like adults aged when Roe v. Wade first happened in 1973.
Oh, hell yeah.
Imagine being an adult in 1973 and you still are in a position to do something about that 50 years later. That's ridiculous. That's too long of a term for you to be in the Supreme Court. So first of all, something needs to be done about the way that these Supreme Court justices serve.
Yep.
Most importantly, well, before that, preface that by saying, of course, we here at In the Mix, we stand in solidarity with the women because it only makes the sense to anyway. Like, it don't really make no sense to be against when you can't be against women in this situation, especially if they're trying to make it a pro-life, pro-choice thing.
Yeah.
We already see that they don't care about life.
I know.
In any kind of way. So it's like it seems that they care more about the possibility of life than they actually care about life, which is stupid because how do you call that pro-life? It doesn't make sense.
At all. It doesn't.
And the justices that chose this this is just, remember I said this because I said it last time when we talked about them potentially doing it. And now that it's happened, I'm seeing it again. This is just the beginning of a wave, or rather a shitstorm, because shit has hit the fan, of them using stuff like this to attack other rights to privacy, other services and stuff like that. Like they're gonna try to attack birth controls and contraceptives, and there are other cases that were decided based on like some kind of right to privacy. Yeah, and they're gonna be attacking too. The fact that they just overturned Roe v. Wade, I won't be surprised if they overturn like Love v. Virginia, if they overturn Brown v. Board of Education. These are all the different rights where people had like they overturned segregation. They overturned segregation in schools. They overturned the right for gay people to be together.
Right.
They overturned. They might overturn the right for I guess interracial couples, all of that stuff. And the fact that they were able to do this, and that was essentially a thing about the right to privacy. Don't be surprised if they start to try to revert back a whole bunch of bullshit and this country starts to look like it's the 1930s again or something like that.
I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not going to be surprised at all. They're already starting to make calls on like limited supplies of Plan Bs.
Come on, man.
And I know some folks are definitely going to go into these stores and try to rack up on as many as they can. And when you look at something like this, I mean, who does it affect more? It definitely affects the black community more when it comes to this.
So on purpose.
Yeah. So it just sucks. It truly sucks. We definitely got to stand behind, the women out there, especially our black women. It's just...
It's the fact that when all of this stuff boils down, what eventually it can look like, there's a clear division in this country.
Oh, yeah.
And when I say like a clear division, I mean like a division that's like reminiscent of how it was when the Civil War happened. Like it's some very, very, very important shit that people stand strongly on two opposing sides of it. Do I think that this will end up in the Civil War in the way that it did back then? I don't know if it can be because, I mean, geographically, it's people in every part of the country amongst each other that disagree. It would be like little fires everywhere.
Yeah, it definitely would.
It's just the fact that what I think will happen, or should happen, rather, I was listening to or reading an article about an interview that Bill Clinton did not too long ago, and he was saying that he fears that the government or the democracy that this country is supposed to have will eventually like be no more. Basically saying that the way that things are ran in this country, he fears that may I guess, go out of style. Which, if you think about it, it's kind of already been out of style because shit like them overturning Roe V. Wade happened. So it's like at that point, it seems that this country operates under a disguise as if it is a democracy. You think it's power to the people, and if people vote on something, whatever, that's how it's supposed to be. Right. But there are certain things that it's not so much about the vote because people just either have no say in certain matters that they try to have says in, or people just don't know enough, or they're not smart enough to know about certain things that they choose to have a voice in. And the fucked up part about that is that everybody has a voice,
right?
But every voice is evil. I've said this before. Y'all already know how I feel about people and them being able to have opinions that are wrong. But this is the perfect example of why I say shit like that. How in the world does anybody that doesn't even have a uterus get to make a decision on what happens with somebody that has a uterus? That's
right.
Like, that doesn't, it doesn't make any kind of sense. Not logical sense, not rational sense, not reasonable sense, no kind of sense. And the fact that they think they can just speak on it, and then you see how much stuff is at stake, you see the rollout of it, it's like at some point women are going to be punished for having miscarriages or stillborns, or they're going to be put in positions where a child that they can't even, that won't even like live anymore for that matter, will could potentially kill them. And it's like, well, we can't get rid of the fetus because that'll be against whatever, so you gotta let the person die, which will end up letting both of them die, which is like stupid.
Two bodies.
But that's right. They say they're pro-life.
I just don't. As for me, I have to really sit back and I just have to see how this is going to pan out, because I always look at you always look at certain men who just want that position of power over everything.
That's what it is.
Feel very in control of what they can do. And of course, the majority of the Supreme Court justices consist of white men.
Of course, just like
and it's like you want to just sit down and just have a one-on-one with them and ask them, like, imagine your child being raped by someone. They're at a young age, and they're not able to get an abortion because of that. How would you feel? You're not going to be okay with your 12 to 14-year-old child being raped, and
this is the slippery slope. That's the slippery slope. Because now what they're eventually going to be trying to do is, I heard one of them, like it was a politician, saying that they're in some places trying to make it legal, or they believe that like an 11-year-old or 14-year-old can consent to sex with an adult. So
what?
Exactly. This is the kind of stupid shit that I be talking about, where it's like these are the slippery slopes that these kinds of doors open up, and then when people just sit back, it's almost like there's nothing you can do about it, because people that have power over certain things, like you was just saying, some people just want to have this chokehold on, I guess, being in control over people for whatever they want.
Right.
It's people in the Supreme Court that make certain decisions just because they want to see a specific group of people suffer for whatever reason. And they're like, I have an influence on that, so I'm going to make this because I don't like the way that these people do this one thing, and I can have an effect on that. And in certain things they try to manipulate. I did a whole like 60 fucking page paper on this shit. I always talk about it on here in college about the dynamics of the Constitution and why I think it's bullshit now, eventually, because you can try to manipulate the semantics, the words in it, and try to make it be or not be certain things, because the Constitution is not enough to it doesn't have enough pages, and to cover every scenario in anything.
Yeah.
So the words that they put in it when they're coming up with amendments are supposed to be able to be like an umbrella for everything that can be possible as far as like what a government can do. So the thing that they were attacking most that they tried to use to overturn Roe V. Wade wasn't even just a control on women's bodies. In their minds, they don't even seem that they're controlling women's bodies. They're looking at what is life, and so the possibility of life to them is life because it's possible, which is stupid, because even if the possibility of it has to become a life in order for it to be a life. It isn't one yet. It is a part of a person. It's
Right.
like somebody having a tumor growing, and you say, "I'm gonna remove the tumor." Oh no, we can't. You remove the tumor, or if you kill the tumor, then that's like killing somebody, because that's fucking stupid. So, what they're attacking in the Constitution, check this out, is people's right to privacy. They're saying that to be able to get an abortion is not a matter of the right to privacy, because there's nothing in the Constitution that explicitly talks about a person having a right to privacy that can cover, you know, an abortion.
Yeah.
So they're like, there's nothing in there that talks about like it is a private matter on whether or not a person wants an abortion or not. But they're saying that there's nothing in the Constitution that protects a right to privacy for you to even say that in the Constitution that can be a thing. That's why I said it's going to be a ripple, because it's a whole bunch of other stuff that was decided in the same way, that it was a right to privacy over whether somebody wants to marry the same sex or not. It's a right to privacy if they want to marry the opposite race or not. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of shit like that.
And you had mentioned something earlier where you said that that kids like 11 to 14 or so are able to consent to sex, and it's kind of like
they look at that right to privacy, some stupid shit like that.
It's kind of like yes and no, you dumbass. Like if they consent to it, it's because they're fearing for their life. A child between the ages of 11 and 14, they don't have the strength to fight off an adult, even if the child says no, and know that, you know, that's not okay. You're damn near my father's age, and you trying to do this with me. That's not okay.
So they don't even know what's really going on.
Exactly. So it's just kind of like, why is I just don't know. And then also too, like an adult can manipulate a child.
Child won't even be smart enough to know that they're being manipulated.
Exactly. So again, why was this such a priority for the Supreme Courts to overturn? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I will, because I know I definitely can't wait until Leah gets in here so we can speak more on this. But I will say this, just to not, just to, I guess, close out this part right here, because it's kind of getting me tight that they...
Yeah, and just so y'all know, this will be a 2-part
for sure
discussion.
I will just...
when Leah gets back.
For sure. We need a therapist on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, just be aware of the laws and stuff in your respective states.
Yeah.
There are some, like, it's a lot of states that's fighting against this. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of states that, based off of their laws, because the Supreme Court overturning this decision, they pretty much put it in the states' hands on what they want to do about it. So a lot of states are standing firm with what they believe in. A lot of the states are just like, as soon as they say it's over, no more abortion in the state. And there's a lot of other states that's like, well, we holding on to the fact that we can still have abortions in this state because we know that people need it. It's not a right to the... Maryland is a state like that. Illinois is a state like that. You know, so be aware. There are other states that are like safe havens for people that are trying to get one that cannot get it in their states. So just do your research on that. Be safe out here, because this is going to open up a whole black market of people doing illegal and unsafe abortions and stuff. And we know the people that are going to be affected the most by it, because these rich white people are still going to be able to get it safely.
Oh yeah, they'll be able to do it and keep it under wraps unless they get caught, and then that's when they start revealing folks and all of that. So we understand. So just like we always tell y'all when it comes to like the voting, and just make sure you know you stay well educated and knowledgeable on who you're voting for and what they're fighting for. Definitely stay educated on these laws that are being passed and what they're, you know, trying to overturn. Just stay up on it, because no one is safe out here.
Please.
No one is safe.
Please hold it down.
For real. Moving on to some entertainment. Of course, last week we were out, so we really didn't get a chance to touch on this because your girl Leah was going in immediately as soon as the album had dropped. Album dropped at midnight. By 12:30, she said the album was trash. So she was going in that day. She was going in. We definitely got to touch on Drake's album, of course. I think it's now been maybe 2 weeks
almost,
or so, almost like 2 weeks with his surprise album drop.
Honestly, never mind.
Yeah, pretty much. So I started listening to it as well, and I wasn't a fan of it. I listened to it. It's 14 tracks on there.
52 minutes and 31 seconds long.
I rocks with 4 of the tracks on there. So I gave it a listen because when I first listened to it, I'm like, yo, this shit is trash. But I'm like, you know what? Let me not be that person. Let me listen to it again. And I listened to it again. And y'all know me. Y'all know I'm a Drake fan. And I rocks with his shit. But I also say if something just isn't, the best. Am I a fan of the album? No, but do I like I said, I like 4 of the tracks off the album. But when you look at someone like Drake, I forget who I was having this discussion with, but when you look at someone like Drake, he is the type of artist that is able to step outside of any genre he is in and put out something that we might not actually like, but he has such a wide range of fans all across the world that his album can still get pushed to number 1. Whether we like it or not, whether we think that we're the majority of his fan base, he's still going to get pushed to it. He has such a wide range of fans from, everywhere, every race. I mean, you name it. Gender, whatever it is, like whether they're part of the LGBTQ community, straight, whatever. He has a wide range of an audience. So he can do that. Not everyone can do that. A Future can't put out an album like that. No one is not going to blast some shit like that from Future. They're just not. They're going to be like, why would you even do something like this? But for Drake, he's able to do that. And what did you think of it?
So, off the rip, you know what I'm saying? What I try to do with any new music, period, from anybody, I try to get from the music what they wanted me to get from the music.
Okay.
So, I want to add a little bit to what a point that you was just making, because I feel like we as like the hip hop rap culture are spoiled in the sense that we think that an artist that we like for making that kind of music that we like, that is like the only gauge to it. So I feel like a lot of people was listening to that album with a hip hop ear and was like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not a hip hop album. So you can't listen to it with a hip hop ear. Because, it was like a lot of house music, like dance music. And I know a lot of people in Jersey that was like, I like it. I know some people in Chicago, I like it. Detroit, they was like, I like it. Baltimore, they was like, I like it.
I think someone from Baltimore produced a couple of the tracks on there.
Right, because it's a lot of that kind of like, house music on it. So when I listened to it at first, I'm like, okay, well, this isn't the typical music that I expect from Drake. So therefore, I got to take that ear and throw it out.
Right,
and so when I played it, I was driving somewhere and I was just playing it in the car, and I was like, it is good like background music. Or like if it was like that kind of party where you dancing, where people dance to that kind of music, you can put that on there. And so to the point that you was making when you was like, he has such a broad fan base, there are people in his fan base that know this kind of music and they like this kind of music, and now they can listen to Drake making that kind of music.
He set records.
I'm sure he did.
That same day that he dropped it.
I'm sure he did. I'm gonna give you a contrast. I'm gonna give you a contrast to him making like pretty much like house music. Snoop Dogg has several gospel albums. Snoop is a rapper.
Right.
He made gospel music. Nobody reacted like that. Nobody even listened to his gospel album as if it was supposed to be a hip hop album and was like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because they can't really do that because it's gospel. So for people to look at this and like, I don't like it, it's trash, it's like, It's not bad dance music for one. For two, it's tolerable. Like if you just listen to it, that kind of music, I don't dance to it, nothing like that. But if it's just like playing or something like that, I can hear it.
It ain't have you bobbing your head.
It did. That's what I'm saying. Like when I listen to it like background music, which honestly, there's a genre for that. Where I feel like it's just like certain kinds, and I've done it oftentimes where like it won't necessarily be house music, but I mean even the purpose for house music, you play it like house music is then like background music. You play it for like house parties, you play it in the house, whatever. But I will even go on YouTube sometimes, and it's just like certain kinds of instrumentals that can be played as like a decent kind of like just background, just play it throughout the day, whatever, just to have some sound going on. I feel like it's cool for that too. But like you said, it's a couple songs on there that's like more of like a Drake kind of song that we used to, like towards the end of it. The first maybe like 8 to 10 songs sound like it's like 3 songs. Like the first 4 or 5 songs sound like it's one long ass song.
Right.
Whatever. But I was like, I guess that's the purpose. And I was like, you know, there's certain places that I know that play that kind of music that I'm like, if I were there and I heard this, it would probably hit totally different. But I'm not there. I mean, that's why when Leah was like, oh, I'm like it, I'm like, first of all, you listen to house music in the crib, probably in the bed, falling asleep at 12:30 in the morning. I can't even take your opinion. You ain't even listened to half the album yet. I can't take that opinion seriously.
Right, that's why I kept looking at the messages. I'm like, all right.
But that was to everybody. To everybody that was saying it about the album too, I was just like, y'all niggas ain't even listening. This isn't even the kind of music you hear in the bed, like you not even in the environment.
Because I was going ham on it, and I'm like, yo, let me listen to it again. Yeah. And then when I was listening to it again, like I was in the gym, so I'm just like, all right. And after each set, I just kept like bobbing my head. I'm like, all right, damn, this got me in my bag. I've rocked with a couple of the songs. So I'm like, okay, these songs really get me going.
That's a different type of record. That's
so I'm like, all right, I can understand. You know, it gave like that as you walk into H&M, welcome to H&M feel. Or maybe a Forever 21.
I mean, hey, or even a Zara. You know what I'm saying?
I can see it being played in Nordstrom.
You could probably play it in Nordstrom for
sure.
Yeah. And the people that's like, but like you said, there's a genre for that. So this kind of music, that kind of music too, gets played at all these places all the time, all over the world.
Yep.
So he was breaking records because they was like, now I got Drake, I can throw this on because he's now under this umbrella of this kind of music. He has.
Hell yeah.
That's why he's like, if this ain't for you, it ain't for you.
And there's a lot of places like outside of this country that actually have like rave parties, so they can actually play this at a rave party. So he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. And then on top of that, the next day, Beyonce had the Beehive going crazy because she dropped a single, and she too dropped a house music track as well. And her album is set to release sometime in July, I believe, like towards the end of July. But I gave it a listen, and it was also different. But again, because of the fan base that Beyonce has, Beyonce can really step outside of her genre and put out whatever. Whether you may like it, you might not like it, but she's still going to get a lot of listens.
Listen, man, music is universal.
Yeah. So then it made you think like, all right, did Drake and Beyonce really have this planned out?
They probably, listen, when Drake, I don't know if people saw Drake's response, two people's response to his album, but he was like, it's fine if you don't get it, because pretty much what he's been doing since he came out is he's been making music often that's ahead of his time. So he was like, it's cool if you don't get it now. My job is to get it, and I got it. That's why I dropped it. So you don't get it now, you'll get it later. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I'm already there though. But you know, God, man, like 5 years from now, you'll go back and listen to it because what everybody did was, granted, a lot of folks may not like More Life, but when they listened to it, views,
they gave Passion Fruit. They was like, yeah, you know, he's giving us what we gave on Passion Fruit. But then even views, people did not appreciate.
They didn't appreciate views, and they came back and was like, this album is flawless. A lot of people have said that, but like you just said though, artists are artists. Drake is a hip hop artist. That's his main genre, but he is not only a hip hop artist. He sings, he makes pop music, he makes house music. Beyonce same kind of way. They can do all of this stuff. So just if that's not your genre of music that you like to listen to and you like when Drake raps, just wait for Drake to rap again.
And they really give you like songs to where it'll age gracefully, that you can still listen to. Like look at us in our generation. Like we're in our 30s, but you know we can sit back and we can still enjoy, you know, Ja Rule and Christina Milian between me and you. We can appreciate a Mary J. Blige song. We can appreciate all old school shit up until this day. Why? Because they really took their time to make these tracks long lasting for us. So I get it. I definitely get it.
That's cool. Listen.
Yeah.
We gonna check in with people's opinion on that a month from now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Speaking of that, just to add a quick sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
A quick sidebar. A month later, and this Kendrick Lamar album is very, very good.
Oh yeah.
I know I said that originally, but it's a different kind of good now. A month later.
Oh yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
K-Dot, yeah. Still appreciate it. I still run back. And
by the way,
for the folks that said he has no playbacks, you're still buzzing.
Yeah, we going to that. We going to that anyway. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I got something else to say on that part about this.
Okay.
I'm gonna just say it because Lil Baby and Kirk Franklin won an award for a gospel record. So
I forgot they did a track together. That's crazy. I forgot.
For the people that be thinking that these rappers can't make music in other genres, Kirk Franklin and Lil Baby just won an award for a gospel record.
Dang.
So I mean, yeah.
Shout out to them. Shout out to them, man.
Shout out to the
and Chris Brown, he dropped his album on Friday as well.
He did.
What did you think of it?
So I mean, it's another Chris Brown album, man. Like Chris is another one of those artists that is very big in the world, and he makes a lot of music. I've come to realize the reason why a lot of his albums always have like 1,000 songs is because he makes a lot of tracks for all of the genres. Like he makes the R&B tracks, he makes the pop tracks, he makes the dance tracks, he makes like all these different sounds, and he just releases all of it all together. Yeah. So around the world, people are listening to it because whatever version of Chris Brown that they like the most is going to be on that album. This one is actually rather short for Chris Brown. It's only 24 songs.
Yeah, usually it's like 40 something. Yeah, songs. So
right.
I'm actually happy.
And then he'll drop a deluxe with another 15.
Right. Now I wouldn't be surprised if we.
He might get a deluxe.
Yeah, we really might. I think what I actually want to do, I want to go back and listen to Breezy's last 5 albums he's dropped.
Listen, I'll see you next month.
Right.
It's gonna take. By the time
I might be done by 2023.
Yeah, 2023. I'll see you next year.
Damn. Yeah, I actually want to take the time to listen to those and come back to it. Cause I get it. Sometimes when you listen to Chris Brown's albums, they tend to sound like the previous album and the previous album before that. So I definitely want to go and listen to it. But Chris Brown, even if his shit sounds the same, he's always going to provide you with something to enjoy over the summer or whatever season it is. He's going to give you something to enjoy. That's for sure. Moving on, definitely got to recap the BET Awards. Shout out to Diddy because he got honored. Shout out to Diddy.
Lifetime Achievement Award.
Definitely, that's big. He brought out Shine. Shout out to Shine. I feel as though Diddy probably could have had that whole BET stage flooded with the amount of artists that he had at Bad Boy Records. But with everyone always saying how Diddy doesn't like to pay his artists, you're not going to get
contract issues.
Yeah, you really not going to get the turnout that you would really expect. Shout out to him, but I think what took away from it not only was the fact that like he had to perform majority of his songs, of course, because majority of the artists weren't there on stage to celebrate with him, which we all know why. But also too, at the same time, your boy Kanye is a weirdo. I will say that. That's old news. We know that. Yeah, that man's a weirdo. With him presenting the award to Diddy. Everyone was talking about how Diddy thanked everyone, including his ex, Cassie, but not the person who was in the stands with a big ass sign that said "Go Poppy."
Oh yeah. I wasn't too surprised at that.
But
what he gonna thank her for?
Yeah, exactly. Because because I saw a lot of women saying how like what one thing men gonna do is have the audacity, and it's kind of like this is a lifetime achievement award, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna say that again, a lifetime achievement award. What has this girl, Carisha, whatever. Young Miami. What has this woman done for him in his lifetime?
She wasn't even born when he started
Right.
his career.
Like this man is half her age.
Literally.
What is he thanking her for? Oh, thank you for the young pussy you giving me on a regular. Thank you for making me feel young again. Like, thanks, but
thanks for holding the sign. That's
like what? He's not even making any music right now. So what is he thanking you for?
Listen, man. This is my take on Diddy in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I think that their relationship, especially the public part that we know about it, is like it's like a gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for that case, it's like Diddy's just like, yeah, this is a young joint that I'm messing with. But seriously, that all jokes aside, which would mean that aside, this is what I'm grateful for, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But her being there, and I think she knows that. I think he knows. Well, I know he knows that. I think she knows that. And she just, taking this gimmick as far as it can go.
She running
And
with
she
it.
doing whatever. Like, he wasn't gonna thank her for real. I don't even think she was expecting it. She just gonna deal with her sign because it's like, yeah, this has to do with the little thing that I do with Revolt now that he.
Right. And that's
Whatever.
all
It's
it
just a
is.
gimmick,
But for the women out there actually really thinking that he had every right to thank her,
No. Y'all take this city girl shit too far.
facts.
That's not a serious thing.
And in the saying of my good brother Chi-Town's finest Carlton, you dig? You're stupid.
You're stupid.
I'ma just say that.
That is not a serious thing. I know y'all think this hot girl shit is supposed to be like it's supposed to end in some happily ever after shit like that. That is not a real thing. I just want y'all to know that.
Yeah.
She knows that.
It's not.
She won't probably tell y'all that part, but I'm telling y'all that part. It's cool.
There you have it.
Have your fun though.
Facts. Another thing we gotta touch on because a lot of folks made sure they added their 2 cents on this. So artists getting on, tried to make it seem as though BET messed up his mic and messed up his sound when he was hitting a couple notes.
The man looked at the mic like the mic was making that sound. Like,
Look,
what the fuck is
was
you?
holding his earpiece like, man, what the hell is going on here?
What's going on? What is that?
Listen,
What is that sound?
if you actually sound bad,
Is that me?
it's okay. We know how these studios can make you sound. I'm gonna say that.
Hey,
It's okay. It is all right.
You
You
sound
might
bad.
not have the voice that we all would enjoy or would love for you to sing at our fucking wedding. It's okay.
It's different. It's a big difference. Some of these people got it. Some of them don't got it. Hey,
Y'all saw Mariah Carey. She still got it.
come on, man. That's Mariah.
She still got it.
This someday, I'll give this much of a benefit of the doubt. Maybe it just wasn't his day. Maybe something else would have affected his voice. Maybe he didn't warm up correctly. Maybe. But that's just me giving as much of a benefit of the doubt for that as I am to what if he just ain't got it how he thought he had it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's all I'm
It's
saying.
all right.
I'll give him a chance to redeem himself at another show or whatever. I'll give him a chance. But until then, you gotta hold this. Don't look at the mic and your earpiece like this. The fuck is that sound? Who is that singing? It's you, bro. It's you.
You just sounded
It's you.
bad. It's you. There's no one else but you. Don't
It's you,
blame
bro.
BET. Don't blame it. It was you. It was you.
That's you.
Another one that really caught everyone was Jack Harlow bringing out Brandy on his remix. We all know he ate that up pretty much. It was like, okay. I made the comment about not knowing who Brandy was and whatnot. Then Brandy came out said what she had to say, and then he had her on the remix.
He knew who she was. She had
And
brother thing, but didn't know.
yeah, so you know, and
Yeah, that's funny.
she
he's white,
did her
though,
thing. She did her thing. She spit her bars on there. She had to pick up the slack. She had to pick up the slack because, you know, her younger brother, the sibling.
Oh yeah, because we gotta speak on this part.
We definitely gotta touch on this. The sibling who was also caught at the BET Awards eating a cup of noodles. Now, where they had a microwave for him to heat that up, I don't know.
Gee, where did he get these noodles from?
Yeah, exactly.
Did he put some hot sauce
BET,
on
or
it?
y'all not serving food at the event? Like I'm just
Did he hook him up?
with.
Did he sneak him in? Did somebody bring it to him? What flavor was it? You think it was chicken?
I think so. I hope so.
It might have been chicken. I don't believe.
I think it
it
was
looked like it
chicken.
could have been beef.
Probably.
I hope they wasn't shrimp.
Shrimp not bad.
But you never know with Ray J though.
True.
We don't know what kind he might have had.
Yeah. So we're gonna touch on this Verzuz recap, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, you know, it took place last Thursday, same time as the NBA draft. So I know a lot of folks probably forgot all about it and was just like, oh shit, let me check this out. It was nothing but jokes with this Verzuz. It sounded like all the uncles that used to have it back in the day just gathered up and wanted to prove themselves to everyone in the audience, like, we still got it, but majority of them don't have it anymore. Bobby V, you seriously, you gotta slow down, bro. You did not sound good at all. Sammy was cool, wasn't too bad. Mario really held it down. We'll say that. Mario held it down with the vocals. Omarion, you see, now what a lot of women were starting to realize with the antics that Omarion was pulling, which was extremely weird, from him and his brother coming out with the watermelons and eating that, and him doing it.
They ate watermelon.
Yeah, they ate watermelon
Why they
on
eat
stage
watermelon? Why?
on a Verzuz competition.
Why y'all eat watermelon?
Why is that even
Like it was the box.
like what?
It was watermelon though. Was y'all trying to show people that that's how y'all eat box? Like it's watermelon?
Yeah, they had this I think like a year or two ago.
It was-
that went viral. So
Yeah,
they wanted to
I remember that. But
Yeah, that's weird.
I was being like a little bit sarcastic when I asked that because like, why you doing that?
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
Like that was extremely weird. And I think some women, you know, it threw them off and it made them, you know, question. Because, you know, the majority of the women who were, you know, so attracted to Omarion and whatnot, I was saying this before we even started the show. I said, what women started to realize was that, you know, because when you're attracted to someone, it's kind of like anything that they do is so cute, or what they do doesn't bother you until you actually open your eyes and be like, what the fuck are you doing? And, you know, a number of women were like, what the fuck? He's a weirdo.
Sometimes you gotta see something next to something else.
Yeah. And old boy was extremely weird. And of course, you know, it led to B2K leading the comments and everything, saying how, you know, he pretty much needed them and whatnot. I mean, you gotta think, man. I'm starting to think like maybe it is Omarion. You know, he got dropped from Cash Money. He got dropped from MMG. So maybe it's him. Maybe it's him. We all know he really didn't have the vocals. Now, if it was a dance competition, he definitely would have won.
Look, it's a lot of people that didn't know he didn't have the vocals like that. Some people thought he was really out here going crazy like that.
It had to have been this younger generation, bro. It couldn't have been our generation.
It was some people from our generation, and I was looking at them like.
That's because they attracted to him, bro. They saw nothing else.
That's
Yeah.
what I was about to say. That's what it was.
Yep.
Because so my take on the verses, I seen it, and the first half of the verses was jokes.
Oh, pure jokes.
I
Pure
originally
jokes.
thought it was supposed to be Bobby Valentino and Ray J versus Pleasure P and Sammy. Now, I wanted to see that part.
Mm-hmm.
I fuck with Pleasure P.
Yeah, Pleasure got some hits.
I was like, I would see my dog and Pretty Ricky. They had his back in the day.
Oh,
high
yeah.
school joint. And I think Sammy can sing very well. Bobby V has some hits.
Mm-hmm.
Ray J has 2 songs that I know about ever. The one when Lil Kim was like, "Wait a minute, ain't that Brandy's brother?"
Yeah.
We know about Wait a Minute, and then we know about One Wish. One Wish is probably the biggest hit out of all 4 of them combined.
Yeah.
So initially that was a shit show. That seems to be a common thing nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Pleasure P got cocky up there. I think he can sing. Sammy can sing. Pleasure P can sing. Bobby V, I think he can do pretty decently. Ray J has never really been a singer, and it showed so bad. It showed so bad that Bobby V, Sammy, and Pleasure P were singing his song better than him.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, please, just you sound so bad, bro. Just let us sing it. Because people want to hear this song. They want to hear this song, but just let us sing it because you don't sound good. And he had his baby in his arm. And why did he have a baby up there? We don't know. We don't know. We want to know why you had the baby on stage at the Verzuz. We still want to know why you was eating the noodles at the awards. We don't know.
Yeah, we just have some. We have some lingering questions that we need some answers from you, Ray J.
We need some answers from Ray J. But from that part, though, you know what I'm saying. The Omarion and the Mario part. So it was like one of those hostile takeover. It wasn't on Locke's Dipset level, of course not. But for what happened and how it happened in a similar way. Meaning, Omarion came out there, a lot of people was like, "Oh, got hits." There was some people that thought he was that good of a singer. And then, of course, we know he can dance. So they was like, "Oh, he's going to do well when he get up there." And then what happened was Mario got up there and was just like, "Okay, Omarion has his things that he does well. And then I have a thing that I do well. But I do my thing well and better than he does his thing well." So it's like, when you seen Omarion's strong points, his strongest point is his dancing ability. Cool. Mario was like, "It's cool. I can sing better than you can dance. You can dance better than me, but I can sing better than you."
Right.
And I can sing so much better than you that they don't even care that you can dance better than me.
Facts.
Because we finna I'm finna sing so well that this is about to be about singing now.
Hell yeah.
And he went up there, and this is my contrast. You got Omarion's songs that we all know. You got Mario's songs that we all know. And then you have the Omarion songs that we don't know, and you have the Mario songs that we don't know. And so we waited for Omarion to do Touch. We waited for him to do like Oh. We waited for him to do Icebox. You know what I'm saying? He did he do Supposed to Be? He did Supposed to Be. But that's not really a singing song though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even that part, everybody likes Janae's part more than anybody else's part of the song. A few songs you realize that Omarion, you probably liked it better. The other part, he did Bria's Interlude too, the Drake joint, which I was glad he did.
And he
didn't sing that well.
He was horrible. That Bria's Interlude, that's something everyone loves. How do you fuck up Bria's Interlude?
Because
you can't sing. That's why.
And so Mario, when he did the songs that we all love, he killed it. Because he's like, everybody loves this song, so I gotta OD. But then the songs that we didn't know like that, because he sang it so well, people was like, "Damn, I need to go and listen to that song now."
Yep.
So it ended up being a wash. And then on top of that, when you pinpoint all of the shit that you're doing very well at that the other person isn't, because Mario wasn't up there dancing for real. So O can't be like, "Oh, you ain't dancing as good as me." Mario like, "I'm not even trying to do that." But you gotta sing your songs.
Yeah. You
gotta sing your songs. And you not singing well, you sound crazy. He brought Jeremiah from Chicago.
Chicago, nigga.
The Chicago and me gotta make an excuse for him. You know what I'm saying? My man Jeremiah had a bad bout with COVID. I think that might have affected his voice a little bit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because he went up there and he didn't sound good.
Yeah, he did.
Mario was like, "Y'all niggas sound crazy." The craziest part about it was He was like, "Yo, please stop." To him and Oda, he was like, "Y'all, y'all niggas sound crazy." He said it on the mic out loud.
He definitely did, man. I think O knew he was losing badly.
He tried to bring.
So he had to pull off the antics that like he probably does on his social media on a regular, where like, alright, I know I'm losing, but I can't admit to me losing. So I gotta just do this shit that like I know the women gonna love. So let me bring out my brother and bring out the
real
water,
life, bro. This ain't the timeline, bro.
Alright, let me get on the floor and start humping and shit, and the women gonna like that. Like, nah, bro, you just taking the L. You making yourself look worse.
That's the crazy part about it.
Like, you're not doing anything to where the women are like, oh my god, like you're making yourself look worse, bro. Like
all
it was
the
bad.
stuff that he does that people showed him love for, he did it on stage next to Mario, and it made him look crazy.
Yeah.
When he was eating the watermelon, apparently people was fucking with that. Then he did it live on stage with his brother, and they was like, huh?
Yeah.
When he be grinding on the mic and all of that shit like that, people
He
who like
actually
when he did it at the shows.
He actually handed the watermelon to someone in the audience.
He did. I think she
and the
finished
chick, yeah, she's nasty.
And
she's nasty.
when
It's
he
COVID
does this
still
stuff at
going
his
on.
concerts, people be liking it, but then he did it on stage next to Mario. It don't look the same. That's what I'm telling you.
doesn't.
When shit be like when you
It
got a crowd
doesn't.
full of people, we gotta bring this up too. We gotta bring this up. So J Bug from B2K, he had a lot to say about Omarion. In a nutshell, he was pretty much saying that he's a fame hog. Omarion's a fame hog, and it's always been like that since they were younger. He was so adamant about trying to be the star out of the group, and they just wanted to be a part of the machine that was B2K in whatever part they could be a part of it in. Omarion got so big for his britches that he felt like he could go solo, but then he realized that he was one of those solo acts that can't have the same kind of success without his group. But then he also was saying how Omarion used to hate on them because Lil Fizz and J Bug were getting more love than him, and they were better at certain things. Like, well, Fizz was kind of in the lane of his own because he was the only rapper out of the group.
Yeah.
But he still had a very big fan base because a lot of the girls that liked B2K, they liked him the most. J Bug was probably right after Fizz, but J Bug was probably the best vocalist out of all of them. And Omarion didn't like that. So he blew up the whole machine and tried to go solo. But then all that did was exemplify how, and this was the pinnacle of it, exemplify how much of a singer he wasn't.
Yep.
And it was just like, yeah, now y'all know. That shit is out there in the open. He had a lot to say about that. And then he was pretty much saying this whole like Zen persona that Omarion has adopted in the last few years is, he's saying it's kind of fake. It's kind of just Omarion trying to stay to himself and be in his own world where he just gets all this attention that he wants while ignoring all the other messed up stuff that he's done to people that we might not know about, which, I mean, that sounds like their personal stuff, but I will say the part about the singing is absolutely true, because we seen that shit. Omarion, goddamn.
Yeah, boy. Trash.
Mario's
Trash.
Mario's a far better vocalist. Mario was up there going crazy. It was a Mario concert.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was all bad.
He was like,
all bad.
he pulled the Jada kiss on him.
He definitely did.
You got Jada.
He definitely did, man.
No Tank or Jeremiah or Watermelon or Grinding
was able to save you.
None of that was able to save you.
Nothing was able to save me. So yeah, man, that was our recap. Yeah, that was our recap. That was our recap, man. There was nothing but jokes, and I don't even think I could take R&B singers being hostile to one another. Like, if y'all don't sit y'all singing asses down somewhere, like, who y'all really about to fight up here? Y'all all gonna make up and patch up and, you know,
stuff like this Verzuz, I believe, is going to open up. It's going to crack the dawn again on people actually having to have skills in order to be good.
Yeah.
The Locks and them went up there against Dipset and was like, yeah, we're all rappers on this stage, but we are far better rappers than them, and we about to let y'all know, we about to show it. And they mushed it in their face all night.
Yep.
These R&B singers, you got to know how to sing. And Mario's like, that's what it's always been about. That's what it's always going to be about. And I'm about to show y'all. Unless you up here singing and going crazy, I don't care if your song was a hit, how you think it was a hit, nigga. If you can't sing, You don't need to be in this. We see who takes their craft seriously, and we see who don't. We see who can do what, and we see who can't. And that's just what it always can and will be.
That's just what it is, man. And this is episode 93. We had to hold it down, but again, we definitely gonna have our part 2 of the Roe V Wade discussion when your girl Leah returns next week for episode 94. Listen, man, it's cancer season. I just need y'all to know. So we got the birthday celebrations rolling around, man. Shout out to my pro fight. His birthday is coming up next week, actually. So, you know, if you're in the New York area or love going to New York, he's definitely having an all-white party, rooftop vibes. I definitely don't think you want to miss that. It's July 8th. It's going to be a great vibe. I will say that. I will say that. I'll be posting it on my story again. But yeah, you already know the big dog. He's celebrating his Shaq year. Shaq Diesel year coming up on the 15th. So,
Lakers Shaq.
Hell yeah, man.
It's a Celtics fan out there somewhere that's calling it the Paul Pierce year.
Yeah, nah. Hell no. Hell no.
If you want to take a football, you have my blessings to call it the Gary Payton year. I mean, Walter Payton year.
Oh yeah. Walter Payton was definitely beautiful. He was that guy, man. Sweetness was definitely that guy.
Sweetness.
Man. He was definitely that guy. But look, man, this was episode 93. It's your big dog Kid 6, Chi-Town's finest, Carlton, your dig, your girl Leah, aka the therapist, and always on things down behind the scenes. So effing classy, aka so effing crafty, aka so effing glassy. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here.
In the mix, Carlton, Leah, Kid